Hello, you are warmly welcome to today's episode of Word for the Day brought to you by the International Youth Gathering. Thank you for making time to watch us. Thank you for subscribing to our channel. But if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, kindly take a second to do so and don't forget to press on the notification bell so that when we upload new videos, you'll be the first to be notified. God bless you, and don't forget to share this message with others so that they also be blessed even by the same word that God is blessing us with. This morning, I want us to take a deep dive into Jesus, his teachings, his life, and everything. But this morning I'm going to start from the book of Luke chapter number 18, where Jesus taught a very important subject, which is prayer. Luke chapter 18, I read from verse number 1. And he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray and not to faint. I read verse 1 again. And he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray and not to faint. Usually, when parables are said or made by Jesus, what happens is that the parable is said, and at the end, the motive is brought. But for this subject, before the parable was said, the man Luke brought to us the end of the parable, which makes this particular thing very important to say that I'm going to tell you a parable, but the target I'm trying to hit is that men ought always to pray and not to faint. So even if you don't hear the parable, the statement is enough to carry you through. Men ought always to pray and not to faint. Men, it's not being gender biased, or it's not referring to gender when we talk about the male and female. It's talking about mortality. He said mortality must always pray and not to faint. In other words, the day that mortality stops praying, he has put himself on a trajectory for failure. The day prayer ceases in your life, you are setting up yourself to faint. In other words, what the verse 1 of Luke 18 is telling us is that the very day you come to the knowledge and the consciousness that you are mortal, your survival is on prayer. The day it dawns on you that you are flesh and you are blood, you ought always to be in the place of prayer, because the moment you cease to pray, what is going to become of you is that you are going to start fainting. You are going to start seeing a downward slope in your business, in your academics, in whatever thing that you find yourself doing. There's going to be a very sharp slope pointing to the down. Mortality survives on prayer. Then someone will be saying, Pastor Frank, but there are people who are not Christians, but they are still doing well. Who told you they are not praying? They may not be praying to our God, but they are praying. They may not be praying to our God. They'll be consulting other mediums. They communicate with other mediums. So they are praying because prayer is a communication. In other words, although this earth is given to men and mortal men, we cannot do life on our own because the life we are doing is spiritual. Life is a spirit. And to be able to survive life, we must be in communication, in koinonia, in fellowship with the Spirit. So he said, men ought always to pray and not to faint. I came to encourage you this morning that pray first, pray first, pray. There is something going on with you and you don't understand, pray. There is something going on with you and you understand, you know how to solve it, but still pray. Because men ought always to pray and not to faint. This morning, the Word of God is encouraging us to take prayer on as a tool for every day. And by prayer, we will survive on the earth. My name is Pastor Frank. Shalom, peace, and life to you.